Hey, what's going on? I'm Brandon Bain.
And I'm Dan Foulds, and this is Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Please like and share this video. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter. We're at Rubbin' and Grubbin', and our YouTube channel. Thanks to Coach's Corner.
Center of the universe,
The
man.
center of the universe, for allowing us to be a part of the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Hey, if you listen to ESPN Savannah Hilton Head 104.3 and 1400 AM at 9 a.m. last Sunday, you might have heard Brandon Bain, Big, and me on the latest episode of the new NASCAR show, Green, White, Checkered. And the host of that show is PJ Zuko, who has been here with us. Thanks again for teaming up with us, PJ. We have a blast every time we do that. How do you like being on the radio?
Man, I tell you what, it's a different ball game than what we do in here. It's totally different environment, but I enjoy it, man. I really love it. I think it's fun. I love being on there with you, love being on there with PJ, man. I mean, we throw it down, we talk about stuff that we all end up with somewhat of a different outlook when it's all said and done. So I think it's a great time, man. Great show. Absolutely enjoy it.
It's a crazy universe when I find myself on an ESPN radio show talking about NASCAR. But it is a lot of fun, and I do appreciate them having us on there. NASCAR announces the inductees into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and a couple of short track legends, Mike Stefanik, and I know that name, and Red Farmer, and I know that name. Still no love for Ricky Red. What do you think?
I mean, Red's going to be a while. There's two guys in there that I definitely think should be in there, and I can tell you one of the biggest names in the sport is not the guy that should be in there. And I'll say it, unfortunately, you can boo me, hate me at home, whatever you want to do. Just statistically speaking, what he did. Now, anyway, so we'll move on from that. Like I said there again, they should wait about every 3 to 5 years before we come out with this list for people to vote on.
Right.
It is not a good look for me as a fan, as the Hall of Fame. When you talk Hall of Fame, you talk game changers. You talk big shoes to fill.
Right.
I'm no disrespect to Dale Jr., loved him to death, thought he was an amazing race car driver, won a lot more races than a lot of people did in their career.
Yep.
But with that being said, you also have the last name Earnhardt, and you were also a junior to a senior. So obviously with the tragedy that happened to him, everybody went 3. Hell, we'll just draw another 3 backwards on it. We'll make it an 8 for the longest, and then it's 88, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, does he deserve to be in? Yeah, some point in time, just not now. Let's wait. My opinion. And you know what they say about opinions.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Yes, I do. So Mr. Stefanik was a 9-time champion in NASCAR's Touring Series. He won 7 titles, claimed 74 wins. Stefanik tragically passed away in a plane crash last September. Red Farmer, and you can see Mr. Farmer on a reunion video, NASCAR drivers reunion video on YouTube. Mr. Farmer was inducted as a representative of the Pioneer era. His exact number of wins has been lost in time. Like the dude's just won too many freaking races.
That's right.
But it is estimated he had well over 700 wins. Mr. Farmer won the 1956 Modified National Championship and still races today in his home state of Alabama. The All-Star race has been moved to from Charlotte to Bristol Motor Speedway, which I kind of think that's...
Oh, dude, that is the bomb. That is the absolute
I'm
bomb.
a new Bristol fan.
Dude, Bristol is awesome. Now you're adding
it's a show.
Now, listen, now you just added the All-Star race where there is absolutely nothing on the line other than cold, hard cash.
Just beating you.
Cold, hard cash. That is it. There's no points. There's no nothing to lose, nothing to do. Dude, you're about to see one of the most amazing Bristol races you have seen in the last 15 years.
I can't freaking wait.
Man. I know. I'm stoked about that too, man. That's going to be awesome.
So NASCAR is going to allow 30,000 fans to come and watch the race. And if that's got you shaking your head over coronavirus concerns, that track seats 160,000 people.
Yeah.
So they're going to still have them spaced out.
I mean, that's something I think people fail to realize, man, is how big these tracks are. A lot of people are like, you look at a football stadium, you know,
60,000, whatever, yeah.
Right. College stadium, some big ones, 100 plus. And then you look at Bristol, a small half mile. It's got 160,000 seats in it. That tells you how big this sport was at one point in time.
Yeah.
We're headed back there. It's only a matter of time. We're headed back there.
Awesome. So in light of a recent study of Ryan Newman's crash at Daytona, NASCAR is implementing new safety features for cars at super speedways. Actually at all tracks, but then there is some stuff that only applies to super speedways. And I actually read that today, this thing, there was a couple questions for me, like they're going to put slip tape on the back bumper. So what is slip tape?
What I would think slip tape is going to be is like, almost like double-sided tape with a clear wrap on it.
Okay.
So basically what they're saying is they're going to wrap that on that rear bumper, right? And when this guy behind you comes up to draft you and locks bumpers or pushes.
Like Blaney did with Newman,
correct.
Right?
When we start pushing, what's going to happen is that tape is going to pull off and it's going to clog that front. So you're only going to be able to hold on to a bumper for so long. That's my interpretation of it. That's what I think it is. Not quite positive 100%, but if I can guess, that's what it's going to be.
So you know more about this than I do. I've been hearing a lot about the air. Like when you get up, your air affects another guy. If you get on his left quarter panel,
of course.
And then there's the side draft.
Correct.
But this, I think, is talking about actual contact from my nose to your tail.
This is locking bumpers. This is when two cars become airlocked almost somewhat together, okay?
Right.
So the front car's breaking
and I
air.
can spin you out doing that?
You can, yes. It is very possible.
Well, that's what happened to that Blaney spun out Newman, right? Isn't that what happened?
There again, that's a racing deal. I would say Newman probably went down, blocked him a little bit. Can't go below the yellow line. Can't do this. Rules are what they are. It was a racing incident. Okay. Unfortunately, it ended very well, thank God. But it ended with him upside down and hurt, which we don't like. But so when you're doing this, the front car is breaking air. Right? It's kind of like a jet nose going through the air, is breaking air. We hit the sound barrier, on we go, right?
Right.
So this front car is breaking the air. Well, the second car behind him has none of that restriction on the front end of this car. Resistance.
So he's got less work to do.
Correct. All he's doing is...
He can haul butt.
Correct. So when you're breaking air and this guy's behind you, pushing you, dude, you're going fast, right? When you're locked into bumpers especially, because they can push you, as long as you can stay lined up and hold on, you're pushing. Now, what we're going into today is people don't, everybody thinks restrictor plate, we're going to line up, we're going to run all these circles, and everybody's double file or single file, and you're correct, right? But at the end of the day, there's so much more going on inside that car. It's not like I just run in first and I got the gas down and I'm turning left and this guy behind me is able to just push me, right? I've got to be able to control the brake, control the throttle to keep myself that close. You know what I mean? Like you might have to hold, you got the gas and the brake at the same time. You know what I mean? You're dragging that brake a little bit to keep that guy right on you, because the last thing you want is when you're in the lead to get pushed out. You get pushed out, it's all over.
You're out.
They're going to blow by you like you're sitting still.
Right.
So it's a game, but there's so much going on inside the car. Not so much strategy on this, depending on how cautions fall. But we'll get to that, man. But that's pretty much what I think the slip tape type deal is in the fact that they're going to make a thing that when that nose locks in, that air pressure or non-air that's pushing on that or whatever it may be is going to peel off and hit the nose.
Okay.
That'd be my interpretation. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Fans, if you got a different understanding about these new rules, go ahead and drop a comment either on Twitter or on YouTube or on Facebook. If you can read these the details of these new rules. I also know they're going to pad a bar and they put a check valve in an oil tank.
On the fuel and oil.
And as a helicopter pilot, and helicopters occasionally crash, I'm very familiar with check valves and rollover vent valves and everything. So they don't want the oil to pour out. LB said tonight that when Newman crashed, he was going sideways through the universe, and there was gas coming out of one side of his car and oil coming out the other.
I can tell you that I think the only thing that saved Newman from burning alive, and this is just I watched it happen, I watched it after, was the banking. He slid. When he slid,
the gas was going like this,
correct.
wasn't it?
When he slid, he landed right there on that apron in the beginning of that track, and gravity took that gas away from that fire, because that fire was right there. I mean, that dude, all it takes is that, and it's woof.
Yeah.
So thank God, knock on wood,
I carried jet fuel for 30 years, and jet fuel is not nearly as volatile and ready to light up as gasoline. And gasoline,
correct. Well, I mean, they run like an ethanol, so it's not obviously it's a high octane gasoline. Yeah. It's probably more on the lines of jet fuel, man. To be honest, it probably really is. I don't know how much alcohol, if any, but it's going to be more towards jet fuel than gasoline for sure.
In that same article, there was two senior senior directors or vice presidents from NASCAR, and one fellow said, we want to get the speed down below 200 miles an hour again. You think it'll stay down below 200 miles an hour?
Every time, you know how many times in my 30 years of watching this sport, they say we want to keep them below 200 miles?
Right.
About every 3 years. So what I'm telling you is we'll change the tampered spacer, we'll cut it down restriction-wise, and 2 years from now, we'll be going 202 again. This is technology and engineering at its finest. These guys don't get paid what they get paid to play around. Mark my words.
And they want to win.
All
right, let's break down a busy week of racing. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Martinsville Speedway edition. The good. What a race at Martinsville.
Yeah.
It was the first official night race. Great racing, 14 lead changes. The drivers had to wait for the top groove to come in. But when it did, it made for some great racing. Okay, what makes the top groove come in?
Rubbering up the track, more laps to run out there. Usually when we're talking about a Sunday race at Martinsville, even if it's at night, we've already had a couple before it.
Yeah.
So that tire rubber is worn into that track.
Okay.
Okay, so what that does for them is once it starts heating up, it creates, sticky, it creates grip for these drivers on the outside to be able to hold their lane a little longer. Martinsville, not as big as a deal as some other areas. You might be able to race on the outside and hold a guy side by side for 5, 6, 7 laps, but eventually that guy on the inside is going to win, hands down. So it just took a little longer. It's something that they're getting used to. There again, no practice, no qualification, no really too many races before we did this weekend at Miami, and we'll get to that. But a lot of that they're running on green racetracks, dude. This is wide open. Just hey, what comes in comes in. So it's damn sure a totally different feel. Damn sure.
Damn it, man.
A different feel.
That is a swear bucket, and we'll explain that in a minute. The bad, because of no practice and no qualifying, the outside line didn't rubber up until late in the race. Goodyear brought a new tire that was supposed to help rubber it up, but it took a while. Maybe they should have put down some PJ1?
I don't think so. I think Martinsville is one of those tracks where the outside, everybody understands the outside is not where you want to be, period.
Okay.
Nobody wins that race from the outside. Maybe on a restart, driver in real high. Man, the outside at Martinsville is not what you want to do. Right, at Martinsville.
But we're fixing to talk. We're talking Homestead in a minute.
Right. That's a totally different ballgame.
I don't want to mix my apples and my oranges here.
At Martinsville, there's no way that you want to be stuck on the outside.
Okay.
If you wanted to be on the outside, when you restart off a caution, the leader's taking the outside. Guess how many times that happened? Probably, I don't know. I watched, but probably I'm going to say maybe once, 0, if I had to guess. You don't. So PJ1 would have done no good. I feel like it wouldn't have done anything other than just put some stuff up there for people to feel like they have it, race a little harder maybe, but at the end of the day, the same outcome is going to be. I think it's great at a track like that not to have the rubber up there, to let the race develop in itself. 500 laps. We'll run around lap 350, last 150, 100 laps it comes in.
Yeah.
Are you planning on it coming in, or are you going to stay to the bottom? So, I mean, can you set your car up throughout a whole race, running the bottom to run the outside?
Yep.
I don't know, but that's what it's all about. Let's do something different, man. So,
the ugly. Austin Dillon wrecked on lap 2 and damaged his ventilation system on his car. With about 100 laps to go, he was overcome by the fumes and he had to quit and get hauled out of his car. Because of COVID-19 rules and a short team, they couldn't have all the people that they would normally have at the pit area. They had no relief driver for him.
Yeah, they had one the week before, and I think it was AJ Allmendinger, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly who it was the week before.
Right.
And by the way, congratulations to Austin Dillon and his wife for having their first
baby.
child. Right. That's way more important than that race.
Cheers.
And,
cheers
awesome.
to that.
Cheers to that. So congratulations on that. Good for you, man. Welcome to fatherhood, and it's going to be a journey, bro. I can tell you that. But at the end of the day, we hate to see that. Unfortunately, short tracks and these different things, that's the way it works. Ventilation gets crushed because of how much contact they're able to have. So you see things like that. You see things like that at other racetracks as well. But for him to man up and run a 500 down to 400, and just say, hey, man, I'm good. Health comes first. I've learned that in the last few years. It is, health comes first. Without self-health, you have nothing. So learning it very slowly, but I'm learning it out there. But good call by him.
I'm 63 years old and listen to one thing. Exercise makes your beer taste better.
That's right. Love it.
All right. Checkered flag for charity. Martin Truex Jr., who's kind of he's my guy. I like him a lot. In the number 19 car, he wins Martinsville. So there's another $19 to the Ronald McDonald house. Our total so far this year is $652. This is two rednecks and LB behind the camera doing this. Drop by and donate in person or online and mention our show and help us help this great local charity. The Ronald McDonald house is where Mom and Daddy stay when they got Junior in the hospital and they're scared to death.
Yeah. I mean, like I say all the times, man, pennies, nickels, dimes, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, man. It doesn't matter. Come up here, donate. Anytime, whether the show's going on, whether the restaurant's open, come up, talk to John, talk to anybody and say, hey, I just want to donate a couple bucks, round my stuff up, throw the change into Ronald McDonald house, man, because 100 people do that, 100 people throw, 10 cents in, we're talking some money. This rolls in for days. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. Let's especially in these times, as I've said a million times. In these times in the world is today, let's support each other. Let's embrace each other. Let's keep this thing going forward. Let's make some big moves, man.
Heck yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Let's make some big moves, man. Dime at a time.
Dime at a time. Come on, dude. The number 41 car of Cole Custer, while being several laps down late in the race, held up the number 48 car of Jimmy Johnson, the legend, and Bubba Wallace's number 43 car. They were both battling for a top 10 finish. Come on, dude, get out of the way. More on this later in the show. The cheers segment. Cheers to Jimmy Johnson at Martinsville. He led a season-high 70 laps. He had another top 10 finish, his third top 10 of the year. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I'm spewing.
Sorry. Just don't get it in my face. All right.
I'm going to throw $1 in there just because I'm sure somebody's going to catch on to that.
What a race at Homestead, Miami. Lots of racing crammed into the weekend. Truck race. I watched it. It was spectacular. Two Xfinity races, one Friday, one Saturday, and a long weather-delayed cup race. And I got to say one thing about the weather delay. The weather delayed the NASCAR race on Sunday, but the weather did not delay Coach's Corner.
The party at Coach's Corner did.
And in the middle of that delay, I had to call my wife and get hauled off the track. I said,
had to come get you.
Send the medics, haul me off the track. That's right. I was disabled.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. It's something that's implemented, especially in NASCAR in big sport events, stadium events.
Right.
So, I mean, it was never rain, clean the track, get back, rain. It was the lightning. So,
yeah, it was lightning.
Unfortunately, it's part of it, and they do a really good job protecting everybody, even though there was only 1,000 people there, crew members, et cetera, we protect everybody.
There's cameramen sitting up on top, man. Metal
Time to go.
Yeah,
Time to go, man.
A big old metal lightning rod gadget, and they're up there on a camera. You wouldn't want one of them guys to get struck off.
I mean, funny story about a cameraman, man. One year at Atlanta, I was probably about 7 years old, and I went with my Uncle Bobby, right? So my dad, my Uncle Bobby, my Uncle Barry, my Uncle Tater, bunch of guys. I mean, I got uncles for days, trust me. Uncles go deep. Uncle Tater.
I look forward to meeting you.
No, Uncle Tater's a trip now. So, but we're all sitting there, and anyways, right we're in the same spots we're at Atlanta. We still own those. So back in the day, used to be a camera stand. That's where they had one of the camera stands, whether it was ESPN or whoever covered it.
Yep.
So 7 o'clock in the morning, guy comes walking up, ready to get in the stand. It was November. It was the last race of the year. November in Atlanta, very cold. It might rain. It might be 80. It might snow. No telling what it's going to do.
Right.
Cold. Guy comes up. My uncle's like, hey, man, you want a cup of coffee? You need something? Got breakfast sandwiches. You want some breakfast? Yada, yada. Feed him. Give him a cup of coffee. Guy goes up, hangs out, I guess checking his camera out, gets it all right, comes back down. And he's like, yeah, man, I'll take another cup of coffee. My uncle looks over at him. He's like, hey, man, you need a little something extra in that coffee? He's like, oh, yeah, for sure. hit him with a little shot of Beam in there, man, and up he went. And every so often he'd look back at us, give us a thumbs up. He's having a good time, man. But that's what it's all about. There again, that we say. Down home, Hart, you're in my house. Let's bring you in. Let's all be family because at the end of the day, we all love racing, man. That's what it's about. So, yeah, that's cool.
On every ship, there's a captain and, the captain and the leadership crew, and they're up here in the top of the ship. And then there's these guys that are down in the engine room and the boilers. and they're sweating their nads off, and they're making this happen. One thing I love that the guys on NASCAR, Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon, all of them do, is when they get on TV, invariably, they will call out all those cameramen that are standing around the perimeter of that track, and they'll name those guys by name, which I think it's impressive that they know their names, those dudes who you never see. And those guys are up on those cameras and they give a big wave, and that is absolutely spectacular. That's called leadership, and I like that you guys do that.
And on top of that, man, like in the video I was in Atlanta, man, you know, had a guy from Fox come up, film it.
Yep.
Let me tell you what their schedule looks like, dude. These guys turn around and leave on a Sunday, go out of town the next week, we'll cover racing. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you do when racing's over, you know? And he goes, well, Fox has the 10 or 12 races. I cover those, and he goes, as soon as it's over, I go to UFC. I said, well, when do you go home? He was married, had kids. I said, when do you go home? He's like, man, I get to go home about 2.5 to 3 months a year and spend time with my family and kids, and then I'm right back out on the road again to whether it's racing, UFC, baseball. Never know your assignment. So, you know, big shout out to these guys. You sacrifice a lot of time to support your families, man, and to bring us a sport and sporting events that we love. So, big shout out to the camera crew for sure, man.
Speaking of the support guys, as a former EMS pilot, I'm friends with a lot of EMS helicopter pilots, and I'm also friends with the young man, he's not a kid, he's a young man, who is the president of the National EMS Pilots Association. That's a national organization. I used to be on the board of directors. This guy's name is Miles Dunnigan, and I recently asked him to review an article that I'm sending into a magazine that I write for the last 5 years. And Miles wrote that, and then he told me a great story about his dad teaching him how to fly. Miles' dad was a police officer pilot and also did medevac, and his dad died. Mr. Dunnigan died 1 year ago today. And so I want to say, Miles, thinking about you. All right. So we cheers to him. We're talking about Homestead, Miami. Lots of racing crammed into the weekend. Truck race. And which race did Hooters sponsor? Do you like Hooters?
I like Hooters. For sure, I like Hooters.
Do you like Hooters? I love Hooters too, man. They have the best wings. All right, truck race.
Oh, they don't. The best wings. 2
Xfinity races. That's it. And a long weather-delayed cup race. Harrison Burton won the Xfinity race. Now, Harrison Burton is family, kin, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one. The Burton brothers.
Yeah.
He won the Xfinity race on Saturday after an exciting finish, but I'm kind of disturbed about that finish. Noah Gragson had led the most laps, but a late caution let everyone catch up to him. And this is where, so now I'm starting to wonder about this. This kid Gragson was like 13 seconds ahead. He's 13 seconds ahead. There's less than 2 laps to go. And some douche nozzle in the back spins out and causes a caution flag. And guess where his 13-second lead went? Boom, gone. Come on, man.
As I like to call it, man drama, man. That's what we live for in sports. That last drive going for the Super Bowl win, needing to run to win the World Series, needing this. That's the man drama in NASCAR, dude. Unfortunately, if somebody wrecks and it's unsafe for other drivers to continue, they're going to throw a caution. At 13 seconds, hey, man, good job. If you're that good, you'll go right back out and run another 2 laps and get 2 seconds.
So what if some fan is pissed off because his guy's not winning or her guy's not winning and they throw a plastic water bottle on the track with 2 laps to go?
9 times out of 10, that's not happening. What you had to worry about was other drivers throwing water bottles
spin
out.
Gate or
correct.
Something. Yeah.
Which I'm not going to name a number that happened a couple weeks ago, but we had talked about it on the show, and me and you had talked about it. When a guy that I had in our game of skill was going to win, and all of a sudden a guy spins out, and it was pretty much a 360, and I kept on rolling, and here we are. So it's nature of racing, man. It makes for excitement. It makes for drama. I love it. That's all there is to it. I love it.
Well,
win, lose, or draw, I love it.
There's no such thing as a sure thing in NASCAR. I can tell you that.
There's not.
I can sure tell you that. I did kind of like, though, that Harrison Burton's mom sent him a tweet as soon as he won that. And I don't know if I'm going to be. What? Okay, this is what she said. This is from Kim Burton. Quote, what a badass restart. You're the damn man, kid.
Yeah. Hey, and coming from your mama, you already know.
That's your mama's love right
from
there.
Your mama, that's it. It's game time, man.
So Sunday's Xfinity's race was equally compelling. I didn't see it because I was driving here from South Carolina. Chase Briscoe won another one. AJ Allmendinger won the $100,000 dash for cash. Now, if you were watching the races last weekend, you heard one of the announcers say that one of those drivers that got the $100,000 put it in envelopes and gave it to their team. And we're having an argument about tonight, was it Gregson, was it Allmendinger? I don't know. If you saw that and heard that comment, do me a favor, drop a comment on Facebook so we'll know, because it's lost to us now. One of those guys gave that $100,000 reward to their team, which is, again, as a retired warrant officer, I'm all about supporting my team, and I think that's great.
Yeah, hell, as a hard-working dude, money talks and
bullshit
walks. So, thank you, sir.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, the Dixie Vodka 400, another good sponsor. Miami-Homestead, the good, Clint Boyer, Jamie McMurray, and Adam Alexander did a fantastic job calling the race.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, no, Boyer's obviously, you can see a future in him for commentating, whether it be, pit road, whether it be wherever. The guy loves to have a good time, loves to have fun, equally as talented in a race car. Come on, man. What a cooler guy to have go out. Down to earth and still understands where the drivers are coming from. Got the ends, man. Great guy. Great guy.
So, situational awareness is a thing that is good to have in life, and it's good to have in NASCAR. So I'm going to talk about two different levels of SA. There's Big's level of SA.
Which is very deep when it comes to NASCAR.
And there's mine. So Big can probably watch a race on TV without an announcer. Yeah. He is analyzing everything he sees. He knows who's got good long runs, who's good in the short run, who's catching up, who's making a pit stop, what they're doing. I'm just watching the race, trying to keep up with it. And what is essential for me is an announcer to interpret what is happening on screen for me.
Right.
And those guys did a spectacular job.
Yeah, always do. Mike Joy, man, I saw a clip from him back in, had to be the early 80s.
Easy now.
Early 90s.
Easy now.
Early 90s is when it was. And man, same voice, same guy.
He's the same guy. His hair's just gray now.
Dude, been around the sport forever. So you got him. You got obviously a 4-time champ, my man, Gordon.
Gordon is up there.
To me, the greatest of all time.
Don't be a hater, but I have to say I like those kids that did that Xfinity race better. I found I like it when these two guys are sitting here and they're going back and forth and a little, poking fun.
That's right.
Yeah, a little competition.
I'll just go ahead and say it. That just goes back to make the money when your name is Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
And Fox wants to pay you X amount of dollars, because I can promise you, I don't know if it's this year coming up or the following year, Rick Hendrick is already ready to step down as far as day-to-day operations from Hendrick.
Yes.
And Mr. Jeff Gordon
is going to go take it over?
Mr. Jeff Gordon is going to be the guy that takes over day-to-day from Hendrick.
You heard it here first, sports fans.
Been out there for a while, but I'm telling you right now, Hendrick for sure is the truth, man.
The bad. Mother Nature in South Florida. Rain and lightning delays. That's Florida. I grew up in Florida. That's how they roll down there. The ugly. Tyler Reddick made a rookie mistake and lost count of his laps in the Cup race. I could do that. His spotter and crew chief were yelling at him, keep racing, keep racing. I guess he thought he was racing the Dixie Vodka $3.99.
$3.99. Well,
good job,
kid,
LB.
Hey, at the end of the day, that kid had a great run, man.
He did.
To speak about Tyler Reddick, to see when you see guys that have more experience than him in the Cup and he is outrunning them,
right.
let me tell you something, man. That kid right there has some talent. It might be right now, it's always going to show up select racetracks at first. When you're looking for this guy that's got talent for the long haul,
right,
it's going to show up at select racetracks. And let me tell you, what he did at Miami was nothing to shy about, dude. He outran, running third, fourth the whole night, second, first there. The kid raced his heart out to have a great finish. And let me tell you, dude, he did not. He beat out Logano in 24th. He beat out so many big-name guys who have won a championship, run for a championship.
Right.
This is a guy, this is his first year in a Cup car there. Kid had it going on, man.
Did he attend the Dale Earnhardt Jr. School of Racing? Was he one of the guys?
I would probably say that he did. I mean, I'm pretty sure almost everybody that comes up, and he is very good.
Well, I'm joking when I say school. I mean, so the seat in the number 9 car, Byron sat in it.
Yeah.
In Xfinity.
Elliott
sat in it. And
Byron.
There was just a lot of guys.
Right. We can name names that a lot of guys had a lot of success in that.
Did or not, but
yeah. No, he didn't. He's always been a Richard Childress guy. He raced it. Yeah, he's always been a Childress farm. I guess if you want to call minor leagues in NASCAR, he's always been a Childress guy. So.
Okay. Checkered flag for charity. Denny Hamlin in the number 11 car wins Miami. Go Denny. He gets another $11 to the Ronald McDonald house. Our total so far now $663. Drop by and donate in person or online. Mention our show.
That's it.
Help us help this great local charity.
Yeah,
Come on, dude. Joey Logano was a lap down and started racing Chase Elliott hard instead of getting out of the way. Maybe the rivalry is still going on.
Hey, I don't even have $1, but I'm gonna write thank you, sir. I'm gonna tell you like this. It was straight bullshit. I feel like what happened at Bristol was a racing deal going for a win. What happened at Miami was, hey, I just want to be a kid in the schoolyard and let me pick a fight. Let me just make this worse than what it is. You want to wreck me for a win? I'm gonna hold you up, and that's all fine and dandy. To me, that's not what cost Chase the race. We talked about it earlier. What I think cost Chase the race was just having this much more patience, about 5 more laps. You were right there, man. You drove it a little too hard, got the wall. That was the end of the story. Other than that, I think hands down he would have won that race.
How old is Chase Elliott now?
I think he's 24 or 25. He's right there, 24, 25. But let me tell you, this kid right now is showing up in his talent at 24, 25.
I got sweaters older than him.
Yeah, you better get ready. You better get ready for the next 10, 15 years. I can promise you that. That name, Little Bill, Uncle King, that's Little Bill. Little Bill is no joke, bro. Little Bill is the real deal. That's it.
Cheers to Dale Jr. for running the Xfinity race. He was fun to watch, and he had a great finish.
It was.
And I like that he was humble.
And he led.
He said, I'm out of practice. He goes, it's hot. I'm out of practice.
Cheers.
Cheers. Don't throw that beer at me. I'll look bad on camera.
Well, that's Dan. I'll get Dan.
Thank you very much.
Watch it when you open it.
Not on my face.
I told you, watch it when you open it. You got to sip it quick. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. Not only is the food good here at Coach's Corner.
Beer's really cold, and I love it. I love it every Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
Break down the race at Talladega.
Dude.
Tell me what to expect.
All right, so what I'm thinking is, I mean, obviously, it's going to be that typical restrictor plate racing. We're going to get together. We're going to, two lines, one line. We'll see how they all play it. I think it's going to be a little bit more wild. I know they get a little bit of practice this week. From what I read about a month ago, they get 1 practice, no qualifying. It's on that random draw again, which there again, we all know as fans, qualifying at Talladega is, you might as well just put everybody in a hat and draw a name.
Okay.
This is one of the tracks that is the equalizing track that I allude to.
Yes.
Martinsville. Some of these tracks that are old school short race, this is one of those tracks where a guy can have a package, miss the big one or big 2 or big 3 or however many, survive a guy that's running a 2019 car and finish 11th, 12th and make a big paycheck for that team.
Right.
So this is one of those things you got to watch out for, but at the end of the day, my feeling on this whole race this weekend, big one's coming early. I feel like they're not going to have that experience. They're going to be antsing to go, ready to go. We're going to have, I say within the first 100 laps, we have a big one that takes out at least 10 cars.
So that's your $5 bet.
That's
first
my $5 bet. First
LB, what do you want?
100 laps,
first 100
big
laps,
wreck,
what do you say?
10 cars.
Last 20.
Last 20.
Last 10 for
last
$5. I got the last 10.
So that's when I think the big one's happening. There
and
again,
we got the last 5. We got the coach in the house.
There we go. So there again, the big restrictor plate racing team. What is his turned into
Yeah.
is it has not turned into I'm affiliated with Hendrick, I'm affiliated with Penske. Obviously, those are always going to lie true.
Right.
What it has turned into is I'm Chevy, I'm Ford, and I'm Toyota.
Right.
And we're going to link together. We're going to use the same pit strategy. We're going to all come in together, leave together, stay together the whole race.
The manufacturers
Manufacturers are going to do this. This is what they do. Teams will stay together. Those 3 Penske cars are going to run tough. Hendrick cars are going to run tough. Gibbs Toyotas are going to run tough.
You just made me think of something. I heard on the radio chatter the other day, I heard a driver say to his spotter, and the spotters are a huge part of this.
Correct.
He said, ask so-and-so if he wants
Correct.
to work a deal.
That's how they do it.
Ask so-and-so's spotter
That's
if
how
he
they
wants
do
to
it.
work a deal.
So now at Talladega this week coming up is going to be, that's going to be more inevitable than ever.
So it's driver to spotter, back to driver.
Correct. Because there's no driver to driver communication anymore. They did that for I think 1 or 2 years and learned this does not work because they kind of threw the championship there for a while. They rigged it as a team.
Right.
Somebody had to finish in a certain spot. Somebody had to finish here. They let them get their lap back. They did this. They did that. They kept the car out. So once that happened, they did away with driver-to-driver communication.
Yeah.
Relay, it's all a relay, driver, spotter, spotter to spotter, spotter back to driver.
Yeah.
Hey, Talladega is going to be one of those tracks that's like, hey man, tell whoever's running second, let me get out front, we'll tuck in together and go. Hey, I'm on the outside, hey, let me, that's how this all goes.
It ain't checkers, it's chess.
That's it. That's it. Man.
Yep.
Communication.
Communication.
That's it. That's one of the biggest keys in any race.
Who's your 5 drivers to watch at Talladega?
All right, you want my 5?
Your
All
5.
Right, I'll run my 5. Number 1, I've got Brad Keselowski. I got the 2 car. The guy is a genius at restrictor plates, runs good, knows how to manage the lead, block both runs from the high, the low, everything. Number 2 on my list, I'm going to go ahead and take Chase Elliott. Guy is really good, young again. Won there before, gonna do decent. Number 3 is gonna be Denny Hamlin, obviously. Got momentum. The guy in himself, there again, another really good restrictor plate race. A racer understands how to manage the race. Number 4 for me is gonna be Ryan Blaney. I think this is a kid that's been due all season. It's finally about time that this kid gets a win. Whether it comes here or not, he's got a really good shot at it. Number 5 for me, I'll go ahead and take Martin Truex Jr. There again, another guy that runs really good at restrictor plates. And if you're looking for a dark horse that is out there, a guy that has little experience at running at this level, obviously has really good equipment, I got to take our boy Willie B. As I like to call him, Willie the Kid Byron, because I heard he doesn't like being called Billy, so I'll call him Willie the Kid. But the guy's awesome. I think the kid's finally going to put it together, have a really good run, really good finish. So those are my 5 in the dark horse, man.
Alex Bowman, I want you to win the race. Go out there and do it, damn it. Mailbag question. Why do they put a red sticker on the grill of the car during pit stops?
So it's going to be tape. I don't know if it's red, black, blue, green, whatever. I would say it's going to be taping on more tape. So as the race goes on, as we saw on Miami, it's ended up being a almost complete night race after it was all said and done. So those temperatures are cooler. They set those cars up for higher, external temperatures or natural temperatures. We're able to run the car hotter, so when they throw that tape on, they're clogging up that front air dam that allows air to pull into your car. They're closing it up, making it more solid to where that front air dam pushes more air off instead of bringing air in through the car.
Yep.
So what that does obviously increases horsepower, increases downforce, increases everything that you need to go fast. Handling everything. So,
sports fans, I got a question for you. This is a question to you watching this show. If you're ever watched a race, you've seen a guy take a scraper and a torch and he's cooking that tire. So I would like you to drop us a comment either on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Drop us a comment and explain to me, Dan Foulds, the new guy, why do they do that? Why do they do that burning the rubber off the tires? Hey, if you come and watch the race here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, this upcoming Sunday, your first beer is on me. I'm Dan Foulds. You tell your server, Dan Foulds is buying my first beer. Fans, listen, thanks so much for watching and being part of our show. Come down next Wednesday and be part of it with us. Come here and watch us do this. This is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
This is
Coach's.
Coaches.
A great time.
We do have good food and good drink here.
Yes, we do.
Hit like, share, submit questions, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel. So our show is called, what's the name of this show?
Man, this is rubbing and grubbing, man.
What's the rubbin'?
Man, hey, the rubbin's racing.
What's
the
the
grubbin's
rubbin'?
tasting. Come on,
Come on,
man.
bring that
it
food
on
up
in
here. Holy crow, look at that. That looks spectacular. What is this thing?
That's going to be the patty melt from Coach's Corner, man. It looks like it's on a little marble rye bread.
Lord, it looks delicious.
Got some pasta salad.
Got some
I
salad
love
going
it.
on. Oh,
I'm feeling it.
Turn that camera off. There might be children watching this.
Loving it.
That's good.
Crazy, man.
Is it good?
No, I'm sure it's good. Everything's good. There's never a problem. It's always delicious.
I'm not $1 bills, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. You want the ABCs or the truth? Bring your kids. Come on, watch. Football's coming up. We got racing on every Sunday, Saturday, Friday sometimes. Man, we have so much stuff going on here at Coach's. Big thanks to John and Adele again for letting us do this every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, live, center of the universe, Coach's Corner.
And this is a live show, and if you hear people in the background, it's because we're doing this in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And there are families here. This is a family store. There's families here. We love it that they're here. In a minute, you may see kids start running across up and down the table here, but it's all good because this is Coach's Corner, and we like that. By the way, next Wednesday, I've got Mr. Dan going to sit next to me, and he is also an expert at NASCAR.
And I'm calling in one way or another. I don't care if you got to unclip one of these bad boys right here and set it on top of a phone. I will be calling in on Wednesday. I will be getting my 5 picks.
I got a treat for you next Wednesday because Mr. Dan, who runs our Wednesday night game of skill right over there, now listen to this. I'm going to say this slowly and carefully. Mr. Dan attended the second Southern 500.
Yeah. And hadn't missed
in the
one.
year 1951.
Didn't miss one for a very long time. He is
Mr. Dan is
very
here.
knowledgeable.
So
man.
we're gonna talk about what NASCAR used to be next Wednesday night. Once again, thanks to our ESPN Savannah Hilton Head 104.3 FM 1400 AM radio audience. Thanks for tuning in to Facebook Live. Be sure to tune in to Green White Checkered this Sunday at 9 a.m. PJ, Big, and me. You're going to be on the radio.
I'll be on it, man.
We'll break down the week in NASCAR. Wish me good luck. We would also like to thank the other show on the Coach's Corner Sports Network, the Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report with Coach Carl DeMasi and the AD Chad Griffin. Broadcast live here every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Live on Facebook. Tune in. The coach does an awesome job. Coach DeMasi is about to come up live right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network Facebook for his Wednesday night sports update right after our show. Hello, Coach. Coach is in the house.
Hey,
Coach
if you guys are watching this, stay tuned. Watch this show, man. It is an absolute awesome show. I think I watched it last week or the week before.
Yep.
Watched about 10, 15 minutes of it. Awesome show. Absolutely love it, man.
So, ultimately, guys, thanks very much. This is for you. This is for you and our friend John Henderson, who owns Coach's Corner, and his wife Adele. We have a good time. Are you having fun?
Dude, I always have fun. Are you kidding me? This is a blast, man.
We'll see you next week. I'm Dan Foulds.
And I'm Brandon Bain. Hey, and until then, stay safe and wash your hands.